Hey crafters, welcome to Paulette's Pretty Paper Crafts. This is December 2015's card. It is late. I've been under the weather, resting and trying to catch up. I'm going to be using some watercolor paper this month, and I really love the Canson watercolor paper pad that Walmart sells. So if you have a 9-inch by 12-inch piece of watercolor paper out of the Canson pad, you're going to put it in your paper trimmer the long way or the vertical way and cut it at 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches, and 2.5 inches. That's going to leave you this little strip on the end. And then you're going to take those 2.5-inch strips and put them in your paper trimmer and cut them at 3.25, 3.25, and 3.25, and that's going to leave you 3 little blocks of watercolor scrap. I don't throw any of that away. I have a special place in my paper keeper for scraps for watercolor, and these little pieces are perfect for other little die cuts and stamping. I have now got my 2.5 and 3.25 pieces, which fit in the little name badges that I purchased at Walmart. This happens to be a vertical one. They also sell a horizontal one, and I have had so much fun creating my tags each month for those. I do think this is going to be the last one, but it will not be the last small card. I will continue. If you are a new stamper and this is a new project for you, I will continue to do at least one a month of the 2.5 by 3.25 cards, and probably I will put them on a gift package or the front of a card. So we will still have fun creating in a small space. Sometimes that's a little bit more liberating, if you will. So let's get started. We're going to do a really fun technique. This is one of my favorite techniques. Stamping in a dye-based ink, which will bleed, and using some Crayola washable kids markers to embellish or enhance my watercolor paper. So these are just some extras that were from an old project, so I'm just going to lay them aside. I'm going to use Stampin' Up's Pacific Point dye ink for my base stamped flower. I'm going to use Ranger Archival Jet Black ink for the month. And here is that stamp set we're using. It is called Poinsettia, and it's from the Year of Flowers, and there's a large poinsettia and a small poinsettia and some. This stamp set's by PapertreyInk. My thought is that I wanted it to be just kind of an icy blue poinsettia, and I'm going to use the small one. And when I'm doing this at home, I do this assembly line, so that's what we're going to do today. So we'll go ahead and ink up this stamp, and I'm just going to, this is the old Stampin' Up stamp pad, so it's the one with the fabric on it, and they compress in the center, so I'm just rubbing the ink on there for easier application. Just tilt it a little bit, and that'll still leave room for the sentiment on the bottom, and it will leave room for our names on the top because we write our names onto the tags. So there's one. Do not fret if it doesn't make a good impression, because odds are we're going to end up stamping again at the end. It's much harder to stamp sitting down as well. So if you have trouble getting good impressions, try standing up. I like a counter height thing, but we're going to take this really dark marker. We're going to outline all of these little petals. They do not have to be perfect. They're going to melt when we add water to them, so you can be as flamboyant or as artistic as you want. That's what's so much fun about this technique. And then let's scribble a bunch of dark right there in the center. So there we go. I'm going to add some more dark here, and we're going to do some of this in stages. Let's go ahead and put some of this light color. Oh, and I missed a little leaf right here. And we're going to scribble in some of this lighter color. Most of the washable markers are very forgiving. The reds are not. The reds, pretty much, however you put them down is how they're going to show. They don't dissolve as much as the other colors, but I find most of the colors are very friendly. Let your artistic self go and just have fun. It's really about having fun and sharing and giving. I want to go ahead and do my words of the month, which are from the Paper Studio. I started using these, and then I kind of stepped away from them and tried a smaller stamp and wasn't very happy with it. I'm going to use a little bit of painter's tape to mask off and just get the DEC. Okay, now we can start adding water. I've just got a jar of water over here, and this really inexpensive aqua painter, which came in a package of 3 at Michael's. They don't work well with water in them, but I love the brush tip because they hold a lot of water. So we're going to wet the centers. And if you need to stop and get more water, you can. But this is going to work. This is working pretty well for the 3. I'm going to wipe that off and rinse a little bit. And then I'm going to start on the outer leaves here and outline them first to get that ink blending. And you can dab if you want the darker color to stay. Kind of, make it pool where you want to. I'm going to rinse that out and get some fresh water, because you just keep picking up ink as you go. Oh, I had a little splash there. It'll be all right. And let that darker ink pool. That's one of the cool things about this, is the ink just pools and goes and travels. Now, I'm going to hit these with the heat tool, but in my very honest opinion, they are the prettiest and the best if you just let them dry naturally. So if you're doing 3 at a time, by the time you get down to like the 9th one, these are dry, and then you can go up and do the next step. So I'll be back after I heat dry these. I'm going to dry them from a very long distance away because I don't want the heat tool to disturb what's already going on here. I don't want it to push the water. I just want it to evaporate and dry the water up. I'm going to go in here and dilute some of these little petals. And I'm going to pull some of those that didn't go all the way out to the edges, pull those out a little bit. And rinse and get some more water. And I'm going to heat these, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I am going to stamp over these with that ink that we originally used. And they don't have to match up exactly, but I'm going to try to hit them right where they go. So black would definitely be an option that would really give you crisp stamping. And I want to hit these with just a little bit more dark blue in the center. And just a touch of water. And we'll dry one more time. And I'm drying just each one just a little bit at a time until they're all dry, and being sure to hit the backs as well because the water soaks through the cardstock. And then I'm ready to write my name on one of these. I'm going to use this permanent Sharpie marker and write my name and my little smiley face. And then it's ready to put in the name badge. So just a frosty blue. Don't forget to sign your work or stamp your name on the back. And that way people can refer to that and know that you gifted them that little treat. And it's ready to stick in my name badge and wear anywhere I need to wear it. So if you guys have any questions, be sure and let me know.